So period. Oftentimes, if we're referring to period, if we're thinking about symbols, it'll be a capital T, not a lowercase t. A lowercase t is time, but an uppercase T is the symbol for period. So symbol, period, is a capital T. So you have to distinguish between the two. Lowercase t is just for time, uppercase T is for period. Now, if we're talking about period, period is how long it takes to complete one cycle. So how long does it take to complete one cycle? This is how the term period became associated with the menstrual cycle. Is how long it takes to complete that one menstrual cycle. So they might say 28 days is the time that it takes to complete one menstruation cycle. If we're looking at the moon phase cycle, they would say 29 days or 29.25 days. If we're talking about a year or how long it takes for the Earth to revolve around the sun, that's 365.25 days. That's the period. That's how long it takes to complete one cycle. So if we're looking for the equation for period, so capital T again, equals, oh, and this looks a little tiny. Let's make it larger. So period, capital T, equals 1 divided by the frequency. So that can be used both ways. Perhaps they give you the frequency and that'll be 1 over time. Oh, sorry, 1 over period. So you can use them interchangeably. Now the unit for period is time. So you could be looking at seconds, you could be looking at days. You know, you have to use your judgment. If the seconds is super large, maybe it makes sense to change it to days so someone can understand what we're talking about. You know, you probably don't want to calculate the time it takes to revolve around the sun, how long it takes for the Earth to make one complete revolution in seconds. That number will be ridiculous. It might make more sense to calculate it in days. But the unit for period is some measurement of time, usually seconds or days, depends on what's appropriate.